difference between like the streetwear culture in Tokyo and New York City?
It's not much, man. It really isn't. The only difference is, and this is just about Japanese people in general, they respect everything way more than we do in the United States. Everything has, I guess, more value to them, and they just appreciate things differently. My last trip there, no, the penultimate trip, so the one before my last, there were still kids breakdancing in the street. These kids practice in front of big buildings with glass buildings, so they can have a mirror because they don't have mirrors in their cribs to all line up. And it'd be like 5 or 6 kids practicing a routine that they would perform at the club in the later at night. Yeah. And I hadn't seen shit like that since the '80s, and I never even went to a club in the '80s. But I can imagine that's what was happening because I would see the dudes getting ready.
See them breakdancing on the phone.
Right, on a Friday night, '88, '89. I was outside with my family, uptown or whatever, you know. I wasn't outside by myself, but those are things that I don't see in the United States anymore, and I still see it in Japan, and the way they appreciate shit that they don't understand is just insane. And I don't say that to diminish anyone in Japan, but the language barrier exists. It's a real thing. Not everybody speaks English out there, so that's what I mean by don't understand, because they understand hip hop. They understand hip hop. They understand hip hop way better than some people do in the States. They know what it is, and they know the history. They know everything.
Yeah, a lot of the young bucks in here don't know the history. They don't care to find out either.
There's kids that don't even know who Wu-Tang is.
You'd be like,
I remember I felt that for me to talk to you when we were younger, because, you know, I don't know if did we tell people our history that we went to high school together?
Well, we never got into it, but now they know. Now they know.
Now they know. You're my OG since I was in high school.
Yes,
and I felt I couldn't even talk to you about music if I didn't know about the other shit, because you'd be like, well, that's it. Or, you know, that's how we were. That's how things were. Things are different now. Doesn't matter. But the thing is that hip-hop is so big now. Before it was more concentrated, where you could know everything all the time. Now it's a global thing. Now you can't tell kids, oh, that's not fucking hip-hop, because you don't know this. But what about the shit that we don't know, the quote-unquote people that are experts that have sparked a revolution and a movement somewhere in the world with a language that we don't speak, and the music is hitting. Because Mexican hip-hop is hitting right now. And those dudes are killing it out in Mexico, and we don't even know. And these guys have crazy fan bases and killing it, selling out shows, and they're real hip hop. So I feel like that's the biggest thing in Japan and in a lot of different places.
But see, I didn't even know that there was hip hop like that in Mexico.
Check out the blog. We just on our privilege blog.
Yeah.
pvlgnyc.com. I just posted about my homie Yoga Fire.
Okay.
Shout out to Higgs. Higgs wrote an article about the homie Yoga Fire that I met out in Mexico.
Okay.
Last time I was there in December. I was chilling with him, and the week after I left, those guys performed for 150,000 people.
Nice.
And that's insane.
That is crazy.
150,000 people. That's more than a soccer stadium.
That's more than most rappers have ever experienced.
And they're local. You know, and when I mean local, they're from there. So imagine you being from New York and performing for 150,000 people in Central Park.
That'd be
4
crazy.
or 5 years into your career, whatever.
That's like the DMX performance at Woodstock. You seen that shit? That's a legendary performance.
Like
So now you
that's
mentioned privilege. You mentioned privilege, New York. How did you guys get connected? How did you get into that situation?
well, I was working at ProCats at the time, and I was looking for a way to rebuild ProCat's image in Asia and Japan because of the importance of sneaker culture out there. So, through friends of friends, I had known about Lafayette for a long time already. I had known about Lafayette since 2006. Privilege, Lafayette started in 2003, Privilege in 2010. So, I already knew about them, and so I was trying to make something happen with us and get a collab or something that would make some noise in Japan. So that was my first interaction with them, was trying to make a sneaker together.
Okay.
So then once I wasn't at ProCats anymore, I would throw the events for Privilege when Privilege opened as a website, and anniversary parties and releases for Privilege. So that developed into them taking Get Live and myself out to Japan for the first time in like 2015,
Yeah.
and then we've been back every year since.
So that's why you developed that. So, I know that you do the privilege, you work with Lafayette, but now all that's built into New York, New York. And what's the vision behind New York, New York?
New York is a platform. It's basically an extension of my marketing agency. That's really what it is, because the intention behind New York was when I first started officially working with Privilege was, again, a way of getting all the right people, the people that move things and make things happen, put them in one room at the same time with their guard down, because everybody's big and more receptive. So the purpose of it was, at first, was to get the name out, the Privilege name out in the city, in New York. Once I felt that we had accomplished that, we started evolving the platform. So then we started the apparel collaboration with Privilege. I had a bunch of drops, a bunch of releases with Privilege in New York, New York. And as the party and the brand grew, it's become a bigger platform where a lot of the services that I feel I specialize in, I just fine tune them through the New York brand and platform. And it's a catalyst to get all these things to take off.
Gotcha.
So now, we still have to figure out how we're going to continue for the next year and change whatever this may turn into.
Yeah.
How to continue digitally, and now we launched a website with more apparel. So it's NewYorkXNewYork.com. The Instagram's the same thing, NewYorkXNewYork. And just figure out how to keep evolving this platform that breaks artist records, have you in the same room with people that you consider your heroes or legends or whatever the case may be, just hanging out, maybe passing a joint to them or something, and creating a memorable, historic moment that can't happen anywhere else. That's what we offer. So New
now
York is
that's
a
what you
platform.
open. I know that you have the retail store with the Privilege brand. How has this COVID-19 situation changed your movement? How have you had to adapt?
Right now, our store is boarded up. That shit breaks my heart. I've got this. I was actually making some headway with a bunch of streaming, which you've seen that I have the streaming studio set up. And right when I felt like I made some headway with you, other people, this happened, and it changed everything. So hopefully everything works out the way we need it to work out. So we still have the studio and everything post whatever you want to call this, like post apocalypse.
Coronavirus, COVID-19.
Oh, this shit is so crazy. But yeah, so it's changed a lot. We're focusing more on our online. Thankfully, we have an online presence that we can still make things happen and do business. But it's changed a lot. It's it's a big hit for Japan as well. Japan initially was doing well, and then things took a turn for the worse. So now it's extended, and our stores in Japan went from 100 people a day to 2 people a day.
Wow. And are they on lockdown as well?
Yeah, but in Japan it's different. They can't enforce it by law.
Okay.
So it's they're under state of emergency, but it's a suggestion,
Yeah.
not a it's not a it's not an obligation,
Yeah.
which is insane. So you can still open and you won't get fined, but at the same time, like I said, we average 100 people in our Harajuku store every day, and it's down to 2 if we're lucky now.
Wow.
So it's affected us in a big way. You know, the fact that our store is boarded up makes me sad because we have to keep it boarded up because we don't know what can happen while we're not there.
Yeah, because people in New York City are going a little crazy right now. To tell you the truth.
Wow.
I went outside and witnessed a few robberies.
The shit that's going on in New York is insane. All you gotta do is just check Instagram and you see all the fights, all the things that are going on in public are nuts.
Yeah, man. But I want to thank you for joining us because we're coming around the hour mark of being on Zoom, which is the allowed time limit for this. But
that went faster than I thought. That went by quick.
Yeah, it went pretty quick. I want you to let people know where they can go to support New York and check out what you got going and all the details of where they could go to cop some shit.
For if you want the exclusive Japanese drip, you got to check out our privilege website, which is pvlgnyc.com. And then for if you want the New York drip by New Yorkers, check out newyorkxnewyork.com. And then check out both of our Instagrams, Privilege New York, one word, all spelled out, and newyorkxnewyork.com. So that's pretty much where you can find out everything that I'm working on at the moment because I'm heavily involved in both of those.
Gotcha. Well, I want to take this time and thank you for joining me for my 3rd episode of the Sit Down. We didn't really get into this conspiracy shit, but we could always have you
better. It might be better that we didn't go down that rabbit hole.
With the government trying to kick down on the doors.
We don't need this. Let me shut up before we get in trouble. But thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Yes, sir.
Helped me get over some of my video chat anxieties.
Yeah, the new wave, man.
I mean, it is.
This might be it, man. This might be the new way to do this radio podcasting shit.
Not mad at it though. This is awesome.
Well, thank you.
Congratulations. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. I'm gonna sign off, and Adreal in his undisclosed location. You have a
bunker
good
status.
Bunker status.
All right, my brother. Holla at me. You be safe. Peace.
Peace.